Well, good morning. I want to welcome you all to our 2024 Living and Learning series, and November has come. So our year is about complete, and we've got a very interesting topic for this morning, learning how to reinvent yourself. I'll give you all a moment here to think about that and digest it. I always want to give some gratitude to the Portsmouth, Ohio, the Maysville, Kentucky, the Grayson, Kentucky, and the Adams County Chambers of Commerce. They sponsor these events by promoting them and letting people know about them, and they see this as a give back to their community and to their membership, and we appreciate their support and their promotion. And so we're ready to go. Put on your seatbelt. Here we go. We have one more this year, learning to embrace change. What's interesting about my topics is they're all very related. In fact, when you tune into one, you've kind of tuned into the other one. They're very similar, and they have foundational principles that are about the same. So we always start with the same rules of the game for that reason. This is particularly relevant and important today for you to consider. For you to get the most out of today, it is critical for you to agree to these rules. Now, this is something you're going to do with yourself. We're not going to send somebody over to where you are to ask you if you're agreeing to these, but you're just going to have a personal accountability here. But this one is probably the essence of what we're talking about today, this idea of reinvention of yourself. It is a choice to be an owner and not a victim in your thinking. You're a human being, and you're not a dog, you're not a cat. You have an ability to create. You have an ability within you, a human endeavor, endowment. You have an ability to project and to create things in your mind before they become real. You have the ability to remember and learn from the past. Animals are reactionary, they're just whatever, squirrel, whatever. They just react and respond to whatever's in their immediate environment. But as a human being, you have an ability to leave that immediate place and in your mind go forward or go backward, as well as be present. And in those journeys away from being present, you either go as an owner or you go as a victim. A victim goes to the past and says, that's my limitation. That's what I've been. That's who I've been. I can never change. I can never be different. They use the past almost as a prison that defines who they are. And I suppose we all do that to some degree. We have things in our past that tend to limit the way we see ourselves and our potential. Some people become a victim even to the future. They are so paralyzed and afraid of what may be coming that people stay where they are. They're afraid to take risk. They're afraid to try something new. This idea of reinventing yourself, to do it well, you need to learn to deal effectively with your past and effectively with your future in the very present. So that's what we're going to talk about. And that is being an owner. I'm going to own my life. I'm not going to imprison my life with thoughts from the past or from the future. Secondly, I'm agreeing to participate 100%. Once I choose something, once I think about something, once I decide to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get up and try it. I'm going to take risk. I'm going to fail. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to learn. Yes dwells in the land of no. I'm going to go for the yes, but I realize I have to go into the land of no. In other words, I have to go into the land where I don't do everything perfectly. I'm not going to let the fact that I make mistakes define me as a failure. Mistakes are just a part of the process. Therefore, how you learn to play a game is you make a lot of mistakes. You learn and that's how you get your sea legs. That's how you learn how to participate. Participation is a process. And when you get rid of that baggage in your head, you can fully participate. You have to be curious. Arrogant, smug people live within what they know, and they feel secure there. They know a few things, or they think they know a few things, and they refuse to look beyond what they know. If you want to get the most out of this morning, you need to be willing to drop that. It's not that you give it up, but you set it aside. You decide to get very present with today, with this moment, and you think about possibility instead of thinking about what's already established. You think about what isn't as though it could become, and you drop the I know and you just become curious and interested. And certainly, this idea of reinvention of yourself at its heart is fun. It's living life, it's being alive, it's getting out of the what I call the Xerox life, where you just do the same, the same, the same, the same. You're going to do something exciting. You're going to do something new. You're going to do something you're not familiar with. You're going to reinvent yourself. You're going to be a new person. You're still the same person, but you're going to do it in a new way. You're going to do it with some new thoughts. So we want to help you do that today. So take a look at those rules. Choose to embrace them, to own it, to participate 100%, to drop your I know and have some fun. And let's go. Reinventing yourself. I'm basically got 3 questions we're going to answer. I've tried to make this very simple and straightforward. It doesn't need to be deep and complicated. We're going to ask the question and answer the question, what does it mean to reinvent yourself? There could be a lot of different ways to look at this. I'll give you my approach. Then we're going to look at how to do it. It's not just theory. It's not just a good idea. It's not just something to think about. How do you actually do that, Dave? I want to give this a try. And then finally, I'm going to give an example of personal reinvention so you can really take the steps of how you reinvent yourself, and we're going to apply it to a story, an actual real story. So let's go back to the first question. What does it mean to reinvent yourself? Think about the 2 words proactive and reactive. We talked about this a little bit in the introduction. Reactive is you do this, I do that. I don't really even put a lot of thought. It's more like a reflex. There's no creativity involved. It's a feeling oriented life of reacting to whatever happens to me. It's the happening to me world. It's a victim world where everything around me defines me. Other people define me. Their opinions define me. Social media defines me. I just react to things that go on during the day. Proactive is choosing. Proactive is owning it. Proactive is going with the phrase, if it's to be, it's up to me. I choose my direction. I choose my steps. I choose what I do. I choose what I don't do. I don't let my feelings drag me around. I put my feelings as the caboose to the train, and I use my thought and my principles to direct my action. Reinvention is a proactive act. It is choosing something that you don't have or being somebody you're not being and becoming that. Second, what does it mean to reinvent yourself? Well, it's a process of first having possibility thinking. What if? What if I could do this? What if I could be this kind of person? What if I could experience that? What if I could do that job? What if I could learn a new talent or a new hobby? What if I could lose some weight? What if I could be somebody I've never been before? What if I could do public speaking or be a leader or be a manager? It's the possibility in my mind of becoming somebody I haven't been. And then the second part of the process is to fearlessly take action. Now, call it excitement. Doesn't have to be called fear. Of course, it's going to be tense. It's going to be new. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a little bit scary, but that's part of the process. It's really fun. It's the little child on the diving board. He's never gone up on a high dive and jumped. I don't know if you've ever been through that process before, but it's a process of thinking and seeing yourself doing something and then going for it and taking the action. That's when the reinvention occurs. And finally, this is the good old familiar principle of be, do, have. If you've been with me at all, you've heard this one. Be times do equals have. Here's the way this is going to work today. You want to have something that you don't have right now. Just something you'd like to have. The question is, what do you need to do to have that? What action do you need to take? And what kind of thinking and identity, who do you have to be in order to do that? Folks, the real battle is between our ears. It's where it starts. And once we get our head around something, then it's taking the action. So reinvention is just simply that. It's choosing that I want to have something that I don't have and realize I need to be a different person to have that, and I need to do different things. And then I choose to do that. That's it in a nutshell. It's not complicated, but it's very profound, very human, and very much about being alive. All right, Dave, enough theory. How do we do this? Well, here's how you do it. First, you choose to declare what you want. Your values. So let's think of the word value. Something you value or your values is something that's important to you. I'm going to throw a different twist on this right now. Let's say you have a value of really giving more of yourself to a situation. You want to serve in a community situation, a church situation, something at work. You want to go beyond the basic giving. You have a value. You have a desire to give back. You have a desire to give more. That's what you want. You're going to declare, that's now who I'm going to be. In other words, I'm now going to shift my identity, my belief, and my thought to seeing myself as that kind of person. Now, this is where you learn how to do this. This is where a coach can really help you. You've not done that before. You've not really been that kind of person before. You've never done public speaking before. But you now are going to visualize or see yourself or think of yourself as being that kind of person. You're not currently that kind of person. You don't have a confidence because you've not done that yet. The confidence doesn't need to come first. The confidence actually grows and comes as you do it, as you experiment with it, as you take risk with it and you reach out. But it begins, it's an inside out process. And you need to shift that inside of you. You need to see yourself being that person. You've declared what you want, your values, and now you're saying, who do I need to be to do that or to attain that? And I choose to shift my identity to being a public speaker. I'm using public speaking as an example because that's the one that seems to scare so many people. I want to get up and share verbally with other people and help them. So I'm going to choose to shift my identity to public speaker. I'm going to see myself doing that. And then, in accordance with that new identity, I'm going to take action. I call that my system, the steps I'm going to take. I'm going to prepare this. I'm going to practice this. I'm going to work on this. And then I'm going to do this. In other words, I'm going to take the action that is in accordance with my new declared identity that comes from what I really want. Finally, I'm going to continue doing it and messing it up because it's like playing a game. I'm going to start to see myself in this new role as this new person, as I think this way and I act this way. And I'm going to practice that over and over again until that becomes my new habit. That becomes my new normal. I'm changing my new normal through thinking and through action. That is what reinventing yourself is. And then we don't want to leave this out. As I start to attain success and I start to become better at this, I want to enjoy that. I want to embrace it. I want to think about it. I want to celebrate the change because this is the glory of being a human being. This is the glory of being alive. This is the glory of being the owner. This is the glory of not living in a rut of the same, but choosing a different path or choosing a new path or a better path, the best me, and then going for it. So, how do you reinvent yourself? Choose to declare what you want, your values. Choose to shift your identity, your belief and thought to that new person. Act in accordance with that new identity using a systematic approach. Continue thinking and acting that way and develop the habit and the practice, and then enjoy and celebrate the change, your results. So, I want to finish this morning with a story of Coach Dave Beam. That's me, but I'm going to talk about him in the third person. There was this fella, Coach Dave Beam. He's a business coach and a life coach and helps people nowadays. And he speaks publicly and he's a top 10% coach in the world. And he lives in Southern Ohio, but Dave wasn't always that kind of person. He's used to be just a chemist, and he worked as an environmental consultant. And that company that he was working for was going out of business. They were going into construction. And so Dave was in an impoverished part of the area of the country. He just couldn't go out and get a consulting job, and he needed to look for a new job. And as a result of that, a business coaching franchise contacted him and offered him to buy a business and become a business coach. Scared Dave to death. He never even knew what that was, but he ended up saying yes and took on the great debt and the great responsibility and the great risk of going into business and becoming a business coach. And so Dave saw his value was to help other people and to help people enhance their lives and be better. So that's what he wanted. And he needed to choose to change his identity to the possibility of being this coach person that does public speaking and that sits with people and works through their problems and challenges them and owns a business and markets a business and sells a business and takes a huge risk. So Dave started to act in accordance with this, and he followed the system of Action Coach, which was a franchise. And through following that system and working around other people with a similar belief and thought, he shifted his identity. And he continued to think and act that way. And he's been doing that for 23 or 24 years. And now Dave celebrates and enjoys the change. He is truly a professional coach that helps hundreds of people, has had an extremely profitable and good business, and enjoys working that way today. He truly reinvented himself. And I'll speak now in the first person. As I look back at my life, if you had told me 25 years ago that I'd be doing this right now and that I would be a very successful person doing this, I probably would have laughed out loud and said, I don't know, maybe so. But now it's a reality. But this is basically the process that I followed. So, what about you? Do you want to reinvent yourself? Is there something you'd like to be, do, or have that you're not right now? Just take those simple principles, those simple steps. Get a coach, get a friend, get somebody that you trust to help you to be accountable and to help guide you and encourage you in the difficult times when you're struggling a little bit, and go for it. What's the worst thing that could happen? The worst thing that could happen is you won't get there, but you'll learn a lot, and you'll certainly be a different person, and you'll certainly be richer in your life. The best thing that could happen is it could actually work, and it could actually become true. So here are my offers for today. I'll send you that slide just so you'll have a guide to use, free upon request. Just have to email me. Second, I've got several related articles that give this a different approach. In fact, I've got a book by one of my coaches called Reinventing Yourself, and that book is summarized in a paper that I'm also going to send you. So it gives you a little bit of another perspective on this whole idea of reinventing yourself. Be glad to send you that summary upon request. And here's the one that not too many people take advantage of, but I still offer it. I'm going to offer a 30-minute conversation. And this would be done via Zoom. And it's free upon request. This is my calling. This is my profession. This is why I do what I do. And that 30 minutes, just like we've had 30 minutes more or less this morning, can be transformational for you. I want to help you get over that hesitation or get clear around what you really want to do or who you really want to be or what you really want to go for. And I think I can give you a good start in 30 minutes. If you say, Dave, I would like to reinvent myself in this area. I just need a little encouragement. I need a little help. I need a little coaching. I'm offering it to you. There's nothing standing in the way of that other than you reaching out and just asking for it. And I would love to have that conversation with you. So with that said, Dave Beam at mentordavebeam.com, email me and ask for any of those three offers. But I'm really kind of hard selling number 3 today because it just seems that people don't want to take advantage of me or they're just not sure. if you're having that thought, just say yes to yourself and say, I'm going to go for it. Just be curious and find out what that conversation would be like. And we'll have a great chat together. So, with that said, thank you for coming this morning and get to it. You have a lot of reinvention to do. You have a lot of potential, and there's a lot of amazing things you can have, and there's some new things you can do, and you can be the best version of yourself by reinventing yourself. So, with that said, we'll tell you goodbye and thank you for being here today.